Hey everyone, I am your astrologer Wonder Girl, taking you to new heights. Here's your daily forecast for the day of Tuesday, December 12th, 2017. Now, first of all, before I get started, I just want to say thank you so much to all those of you who sent me healing vibes yesterday in the comments and just wrote me sweet messages to help me get better. I actually took the day off work today just because I just woke up and I was not feeling great. Still not feeling that good either. So don't know if I'm going to go into work tomorrow either, but we'll see. But I wanted to give you today's horoscope because I did not do my weeklies. I might do those tomorrow. But I wanted to give you today's horoscope because of that. Also because this is a major week, with this being the last week of Saturn in Sagittarius. And also because this is the week my Saturn return comes exact, so I want to know what's going on too. So that's why I'm going to go ahead and do your horoscope right now. Let's go ahead and get into it. Now, what is happening today is we've got the moon here hanging out in Libra, all right, where it was a little bit yesterday, bringing our attention, of course, to relationships whenever you think of Libra. So working with other people, thinking about other people, normally of the one-on-one variety, or contracts too, just thinking about signing or entering into any contracts. Libra also does rule judgments, assessing your life, understanding your life, trying to figure out whether your life is on the right track or not, to try to put all of that stuff together and to just look back on what's happened to you to figure out if it's right or wrong or where you need to go from here, okay? So I think that's a lot that's coming up with the moon in Libra. At midnight, this moon in Libra made a sextile here over to Venus in Sagittarius, okay? So I think you here really focusing on making sense of your life and working with other people in some way is going to help you to do some new thing that it is that you need to do, to make sense of your life, to understand where your life is going, to get a better perspective on it in some way, and perhaps do some new thing that you were called to do, okay? This sextile to Venus could also bring new relationships to you, new chapters in relationships in some way, but I do see this being a very positive thing where you're starting to make sense of your life, starting to look at it from a more objective standpoint, and starting to get on board with some new thing that you're doing, or with some new perspective that is coming to you, all right? So that's what is happening at midnight from yesterday into today. After that happens at 5 a.m., the moon in Libra then makes a sextile over here to the North Node in Leo. So you taking the time out to assess your life, to look at it from a bunch of different perspectives here, and to work with other people is not only going to help you to do something new, to understand your life better, and to move forward, but also here where the North Node is in Leo, to be happy, to do something that you enjoy, and to really start to make some progress, do some things that you need to do, and begin to take more initiative and control over your life to start to bring it more in the right direction, okay? Or at least to start feeling better about it. Okay, so I think that's what's going on at 5 a.m. Now at 8 a.m., there's a lot of stuff going on today. Now at 8 a.m., after that happens, these are both very pretty aspects. I love sextiles. The moon does make a square over here to Pluto in Capricorn coming in. So after we've been feeling much better, I want to say, like, maybe we're starting to make sense of our life here, move in the right direction, feel a little bit happier about what is going on in some way, and really get on board with some new thing that it is that we're doing. There could be some intense feelings that come up here where Capricorn is, about your reputation, about the direction your life is going in some way. Maybe you're worried that even though relationships, so you're having new relationship chapters and relationships are exciting, maybe you're worried that these relationships, you're not quite sure how to move them in the right direction for you to help you get the reputation that you want. Maybe you're also worried that as you're doing something new and starting to identify with this new thing, that you're not quite sure how to really bring it and help you to increase your social standing with it. I think you're starting to think about the next steps here now that things are starting to come together in your life and fall into place here. And I think that's what you're trying to figure out, is now that I have this new thing, or now that I have some of these new relationships, how can I really start to use it for my best interest? How can I really start to use it and take it to the next level that comes in, that I think could be a little bit stressful, especially around 8 a.m. Mountain Time this morning, that we're going to have to work with. Now this aspect, just to stay in it for a second, is basically going to be what Saturn in Capricorn is going to be about. Because when Saturn moves into Capricorn, it's going to square Libra, you know, for the next 2.5 years. Every time the moon comes into Libra, every time a planet comes into Libra, because Libra squares Capricorn, Saturn's going to get squared. So the struggle that you're feeling here around 8 a.m. to take your relationships, or to think about your life and to think about it in a way that can help you move up in the world, help you have the reputation that you want, and work with people as well that can help you do that, is going to be more of a bigger theme that's starting to come in here. Is how do I take all of this stuff that is occurring in my life, well, especially right now, that's starting to come together as a whole. How do I take all of this and how do I begin to work with the right people and move it in the right direction? And that's a theme that's going to start coming in, that you could start feeling at 8 a.m. that maybe could be a little new and different, that you might have to work out a little bit. Okay, but after we kind of get this square to Pluto, which is a little bit of an uncomfortable aspect, most of the aspects for the rest of the day look really good. Because after the square to Pluto, the moon then comes into a sextile with the sun and Mercury. Which is going to be in between noon and 3 p.m. Mountain Time, that happens. So after we've kind of had this struggle here trying to figure out how to take this new thing and our relationships and put them in the right direction for us and really create a life that can increase our social standing and that is better for us, I think we start to feel better once again here, really being able to identify more with this new thing that we're doing, communicating a lot more about this new thing, about how we're making sense of our life and about where our life is going. All right, and maybe just needing to, it's almost like we're starting to touch base early in the morning. We're starting to detach from the same old story and the same old like themes that we've been telling ourselves for so long. And I feel like that's what happens at 8 a.m. this morning, is we start to see things differently, see a different picture. We start to identify more with our future journey here coming in instead of our past. And that could be a little bit uncomfortable because it's new and we don't know how to deal with it and we're still trying to work it out. But I think after we identify this issue and feel this thing, things start to get a little bit better, because we start to feel like, you know what, even though things are hard, even though there's still more questions that we have about how we can take something we're doing and moving it forward, like there's still lots of good to go around. Like we're still making progress, we're still finishing something that we've been working on for 2.5 years, and I think things are going to start to fall into place today with a lot of that. Right, because the moon is going to make all these really pretty sextiles to all of these planets in Sagittarius, because Libra sextiles Sagittarius in a very positive way. So I think us taking the time out today to have relationships and to assess our life is really helping us identify with this new thing, even if we're struggling to take this new thing and take these new relationships and create a life off of it that's better. Okay, and I think we're starting to check in with that. We're starting to figure some of that stuff out, starting to think about our future, but at the same time feeling good that these old chapters that we've been dealing with for a little bit are starting to come to a close, and we're starting to understand them, and we're starting to move forward doing some things that may have been hard. I think we're sensing the end is near here, and it's coming, and we're starting to move forward. Okay, so that's what I see going on for the day. Sorry, it took me a little bit walk around the park there to get to what I was trying to say, but that's what's going on. And then at 8 o'clock at night Mountain Time, the moon comes into an opposition with Uranus. Okay, so after, I think we're starting to feel much better here about life, identify with this thing we've been working on, this new thing for years, really feel like we're starting to make some big progress, do some things we need to do. I think that there could be some unexpected thing here that comes up, some unexpected thing having to do with either you or your relationships coming in, that you're going to have to figure out how to work together. Maybe there's some compromise that's needed with relationships and your own wants and needs that could come in. Maybe also you're judging yourself a little bit too harshly here and having to loosen some of your judgments as well at the nighttime, so that you can make allowances for other things to come in that you weren't expecting, now that our life is starting to take shape. That now that the thing that we're going to have to commit to for the next 2.5 years is starting to fall into place now, and now that we're starting to understand better what's going on coming in, we may have to loosen some of our grip on some things and not judge ourselves and our life as harshly, so that we can accommodate all of these things that have come to us in the past week or so, now that Saturn is about to leave Sagittarius. All right, So I think that could be a thing that comes up at 8 p.m. as well, really needing to work with that. But after that happens, again, the moon then begins to sextile Saturn around midnight, you know, 11 o'clock at night, moving into the next day. So today is like such an interesting day. Like, I really think that we're finally starting to identify with this new journey, with this new life, with this new thing that we've been like spending the past 2.5 years on. Like, I think things are starting to fall into place. Things are starting to come together. I think we're starting to feel that the end is near in a lot of ways here, but really maybe still having to make allowances for some unexpected things to come up, for some insights as well to come in about your life, having to let some of that stuff in so that you can take that with you on your journey as you do this new thing and move forward. And also here, starting to identify more with the future and about where your life is going. Now that you're understanding better what has happened to you the past 2.5 years, now that you're making commitments that are important to you to do something new that you haven't done, I think you're starting to think more about the future and about what's happening and about how you can begin to take this new thing and maneuver it into a way that's good for you while still making allowances for any unexpected insights or things that may come to you that you need for your journey that you still do not have yet. All right? I hope that made sense. I know I said this yesterday and a lot of you were like, it's great, you do make sense, you do, but I just worry sometimes because A, I'm not feeling that well, and Mercury is in retrograde and it's sign of its detriment, or in a bad place for Mercury. So I'm worried about that too, but also because I think about the astrology like all day long. And I talk about the astrology all day long in my own mind and with other people, and sometimes I forget what I have said to other people and what I have just thought in my mind. So sometimes it helps just to make sure that I am communicating it in the right way and I'm not too much in my head losing it all, okay? So yeah, so I hope that makes sense, what's going on there. I do think that we're going to end the day on a good note, even if there are some things that do come up throughout the day that were a little unexpected or that are a little different than what we're used to dealing with, okay? Now, stuff going on in the background we have is, I'll talk about Saturn at 29 degrees, okay? 29 degrees is an important degree. Whenever a planet is there, I mentioned this a little bit because we had Mars at 29 degrees lately and Venus. It's a kind of like it's a very intense degree because it's the last degree of a sign. When a planet is in the last degree of a sign, it's like rushing to get everything done that it has not done before. It's like so nervous that it's going to leave the sign and it's going to have unfinished business. And I think that could be a thing that's coming to you today and maybe a little bit yesterday too, since I didn't talk about it yesterday, is where all of a sudden you're feeling like things are lightening up. You're going in a new direction. Things are starting to come together here, but maybe you still feel like there's a few last minute things that are not right, that are out of place, that you're having to take care of and to put together to make sure that this is what you really, really want to do, okay? Because Saturn is at the 29th degree and because we are at a waxing moon here, I don't think this is starting something entirely new. Like, these last minute things that you're doing are not like entirely new projects that are going to take hours and days to work on. These should be like the last few bits and pieces, like officially, that you're really trying to bring all together to make sure that everything is where you want it to be, that you're doing Saturn and Sagittarius right, or that all the lessons that you've learned are starting to fall into place here. And I think you're just trying to bring it all together with Saturn at the 29th degree here, trying to make sure that you've done everything that you can here to put yourself in the best possible spot to build on it later on when Saturn enters Capricorn very soon, okay? So that's what is going on there. We also do have Mercury in a conjunction with the Sun today, or coming into it, going on. So lots of communication, lots of thought here about yourself, about you, about something new that you're doing, or thinking about your life, trying to make sense of your life, doing a lot of talking about it. Okay, this to me is kind of interesting because Mercury is meeting with the Sun retrograde. I mean, that's what it does when it retrogrades. But I think what's going on here is your mind here understands where your life is going, understands these commitments that you need to make and how you need to make them, because Mercury was just with Saturn like a week ago It was just with Saturn. So you understand what's going on there. You understand there's some commitments going on, some changes in your life, some new things that you're trying to do so that you can switch things. And I think with Mercury here at the sun, it's finally hitting you like, okay, this is what's going on. This is the commitment I need to make. This is the commitment or the thing that I thought about a few weeks ago, but am I going to do it now? Am I going to integrate it into my life? Does it really make sense for me? And like, or is it just all in the mind? Is it just all in the head? And I think also with Mercury coming back to the sun here, it's you have to integrate a lot of these things that you've been thinking about recently and that you've been working on for a lot longer than that, okay, with Saturn being in this sign. And I think Mercury here is saying, okay, you know what you need to do. You know like what's going on here in a sense, and what kind of thing you're working on. Are you going to do it or not? Are you going to integrate it into your identity, or are you just kind of going to keep thinking about it for forever? So I think that's a thing that could be going on there as well, trying to think a lot seriously about your identity, about who you are, and to integrate all of the insights and all of the stuff that has come to you recently in your life so that you can move forward feeling better about it all and feeling more whole. Okay. We also do have the sun in a square with Chiron as all of this is happening. So could, again, be feeling a little bit uncomfortable, or it's coming into the square. It'll be in the next few days. So feeling a little bit uncomfortable here as you're trying to get on board with where your life is going, as you're trying to do some new thing, have everything fall into place, as you're trying to integrate the new thing or the new commitment that you've been thinking about for the past few weeks, feeling hurt about it, feeling uncomfortable about it, feeling unsure about it, not sure if it is meant for you in some way here, but still needing to do it, still needing to do something new, still needing to integrate the lesson here, even if it's uncomfortable, so that you can finally begin to break through and move forward. Okay, it's like we're on the verge here of really things changing in a big way. I think you're gonna feel it today, but just having to get over some uncomfortable feelings. Maybe we're just, yeah, I think it's just one of those things. We're doing something new sometimes is very, very uncomfortable. Having to step out and do something you haven't done before could be definitely a little bit hard, and I think we're having to overcome our uncomfortable feelings about this new thing so that we can start to do it. And once you make the commitment here to doing the new thing and to building on it, all of these hurt feelings are going to go away. They're going to go away because these planets are going to move into Capricorn, all of these, at the very end of December, and they're no longer going to touch this square to Chiron anymore. But it's just a matter of doing the uncomfortable thing and committing to the new thing that you aren't sure about. That is going to be important. And if you can commit to the new thing that you're uncomfortable about, your problems are going to get better and you're not going to be worried about the same things that you've been worried about. Okay, so that's happening there. And then we also have Venus also in a trine with the North Node here, saying if you can really commit to something new, do something new, think about something new, get comfortable with this new thing you're doing, and get comfortable with the way that you're making sense of your life, and comfortable with the things that you believe about life, it's going to help you here to feel happier, to enjoy your life more, and to do more of the things that you know that it is that you need to do. But a lot of it here is going to depend on Sagittarius. You know, are you comfortable with this new thing? Are you okay with it? Are you committing to it? Are you moving forward on it? Or are you hurt? Are you uncomfortable? You know, is that stopping you from doing something that you know it is that you need to do? And I think if you can keep moving forward here with your life, and moving forward, I don't even know is the right word, because it's kind of just like this week is like kind of an interesting week. We're not like fighting things. We're not like pushing for things to happen. But if you can keep just living your life here and trying to make sense of it and trying to work things out in your mind and move forward, even if things hurt, and continue to do the things that you've been working on here, I think it's going to be a lot better for you in the future, and it's really going to help you later on. Okay, so that's what we've got there. Any other things I want to mention? Mars also just moved into Scorpio. I didn't mention that yesterday, but typically a good thing helping you to make any of the changes that it is that you need to make. The moon will be there too very shortly, when you'll start to feel this a lot more. But Mars coming into Scorpio is a good thing, really helping you to do some things that it is that you know that you need to do. Okay, and just needing to let yourself go there. All right, so that's what I've got for you this week. I'm going to leave it there. This video got really long all of a sudden. All right, so your card for the week is the Devil. Again, I got this card recently, upright. This is a card of attachment. of being too attached to something, too attached to an old life, too attached to something that was important to you in some way, or that maybe you once liked, and just needing to let it go, I mean, that's the whole thing. The whole thing about Sagittarius is letting the comfortable thing go. Letting the thing that you're familiar with go for something that's new, something that's untested, something that you've never experienced before. And I think this card is saying, look, if you have to let the old go so that you can do something else. You can't keep holding on to the past. And I think if you can do that, you're going to find very, very, very soon that it's good for you, and how much it's going to help you feel much better about life, and welcome you into new chapters. All right. So that's what I've got for you today. Thank you so much for watching my horoscope. If you like it, please like it on YouTube, subscribe to my channel, share with your friends, and I will talk to you later.